In this session, we'll try to solve some problems related to files in Python. However, these questions are only related to files. I'll not be using lists or advanced string functions here. And that's going to be done in another tutorial. Once we learn lists and text or string functions, we will be processing files data differently. So let's start with the first question. Count the number of lines in a text1 txt. So we need to know how many lines in a file. Here is text1 txt. We have number of lines. The question says only tell us the number of lines. Let's see how we're going to open it. All files are in the same folder with the programs. So I'll just open the file, f.open. The file name is text1 txt. Read mode. And there are so many ways how to do this actually. One will be lines equal 0. I can say for line in F. For line in F, in Python, you will get one line at a time from the file automatically. You don't have to do anything. If you want to see this, let me print the line. So I'll just print the lines now. So here, the file name is wrong. I just need to say text.txt. And now I get the lines. So I just want to know the number of lines. So I will say lines plus equal 1. And that's it. Finally, I close the file and print. Okay, number of lines equal to lines. So let us just run it again. Type error. Number of lines equal lines. Let's see where we made a mistake. Lines here, not line. Run. Number of lines is equal to 7. I'll go to the same one, add few lines here, and save. Run again. Number of lines equal to 12. There is another way how to do it. If you say here, lines equal f.readLines, if you look at read lines, it returns a list of strings. We did not cover lists. However, you just can print the length of the list, len of lines. And no need for all of this code. Let me just comment this code here. Run. So here print number of lines is equal lines and print 12. Do you see it? So here I just need to say len of lines instead of lines. So now I know the len of lines, which is equal to 12. So because read lines return a list of strings in a list. So just the length of the list is going to be the same. And I have shown you also how to do this without using lists. So both are fine, both are correct. Next question. Question 2 says, find and print the longest line in text1 txt in terms of characters. So we need to find the longest line. So let's see how we're going to solve it. So we'll open the file again. Text1 txt. And it's going to be opened in read mode. So we can go line by line. I can say max line is equal to float minus infinity. Then I'll go line by line for line in F. Again, the line is a string, and you can get the length of the string. For example, print len of line, it will give me how many characters in this line. So let's just test this first and make sure it works. Excellent. It gives me the length of each line. That's it. So now here we would say if len of line is greater than max line, then max line is equal len of line. So this way I know the maximum length of any line in terms of characters in the file. And print the result. Longest line has max lines characters. Longest line has 76 characters. Let me go here, text one. I'll add some characters to any line. I'll make it very long. If you don't put enter, no new line character, it will be considered one line. Save the changes, run it again. So the longest line has 204 characters. So we decided to start from, you can put this 0 because you don't expect negative values, or you can use float minus infinity. And both was going to work because in this question, you don't expect any negative values. So problem solved. Question number 3, create a new text file out1.txt with the contents of 2 input text files, in1.txt and in2.txt, one after the other. So actually, the out1.txt will be like joining or concatenating the contents of in1 and the contents of in2. So out1 will be open for write. So let's see how we do this. So here is in1 and here is in2. And we're gonna create another file for them. File, we need to open both files first. in1.txt for read mode. And let me call it F1. And F2 is equal to open in2.txt and again for read mode. Now I need to open output file. I'll call it out equal f.open open out.txt for write mode. So now I'll take the contents of in1 line by line, output them to out. Then I'll take the contents of in2, output them to file. So for line in in1, in F1, so what we're going to do for line in F1, we will say out, which is the output file, dot write line. We are outputting the line. That's it. And I will also say for line in F2, out dot write line. And now F1 dot close and F2 dot close and F3 or out, I called it out dot close. So now what happens here? I open the first 2 files in read mode, the output file in write mode, and go line by line, take the line, output it to the output file. Let me run this and see. I get an out file here, which is, I believe, correct. The contents of what? The contents of both in1 and in2 are available now in out file. We did this line by line, and it's very easy and straightforward question. Question number 4, calculate the sum of all integers in data1.txt. The question clearly specifies that you're going to find only integers. Let's see how we're going to do it. Here is data1 file. It only contains integers. I don't know how many integers, by the way. I just need to find their sum. So we are going to open the file. Open. data1.txt and open it for read mode. Let's say total is equal to 0. Now I'm going to go line by line, but remember, when you read a line from the file, and again, this is the file, when you read a file, the read function or the read line function gets it as a text. So make sure you convert it to integer or a float if it's a numeric one. And you should know the structure of the file. So now I'll go line by line for line in F. So I'll say value is equal to integer of line. And if you use integer of line, no need to use rstrip. Because when you convert a string line to integer or float, the backslash character, \n, is going to be automatically removed. So here I get the value itself. I just need to add it to total. Total plus equal v. That's it. So we go line by line, convert the line to integer, add it to total. That's it. Now we need to close. And we need to print the total is equal to total. Let's see what's going to happen. We get this total. I believe it's correct. No one asked me about average. I just need to do the total. We will see in other examples how to find maximum, minimum. And in that case, we're going to use almost the same core code here we did here. So for this one, problem solved. Just find the sum of all lines, convert to integer, add to sum. Find the largest integer in data1.txt. We'll use almost the same code. However, the logic inside the loop will be comparison now, because we need to find the largest. I'll copy the same code from previous file, and now I need to say max value. Max value is equal to float minus infinity, because I don't know if there are negative values or not. So now I'll go line by line, but what I need to do here, so I'll say value is equal to integer of line. That's it. If value is greater than max value, then max value is equal to value. بس خلاص. That's it. So convert it to integer, compare it with current max, and switch. Close the file now, and max value in file is equal to max v, I think I called it. So now if you run this, let's see, the maximum value is this 6575050. Let me change it. I'll make, here. I think this is larger now. And run it again. So I get the new value as a max value. Just define max before, convert it to integer, do the comparisons you did in so many examples, close the file and print the result. Problem solved. Number 6, calculate the average of integers in data1.txt. I believe we have done this. We have already done the sum in question 4. So to find the average, we need to know the count of lines or count of values and divide it. Let's do it. This is the same code I used to find the total. So here, I just need to say count. And remember, we showed you how to calculate the number of lines. So anyway, I'll just say here, count plus equal 1 if you go inside the loop. So now, after you finish going inside the loop, you know the total and you know the count. That's it. So to be in the safe side, you can say if count is greater than 0, then you can calculate average. AVG is equal to total divided by count. Otherwise, else you could say print no lines in the file, or the file is empty. So there might be an empty file. So in this case, we find nothing. So I believe we are on the safe side to avoid division by 0 error. So We know how to find the total. I only added the number of lines. After the loop, I calculate the average and considering the number of lines. Average is equal to this much. I believe it's a correct solution here. Typical average problem. Find total and count. Next problem. Count how many integers in data1 txt. That's easy. How many even integers? So again, I use the same code I used there, but here I say even count is equal to 0. I will go line by line, and now I need to use if statement. If v modulus 2 is equal 0, it means the value is even. So even count plus equal 1. So let us say here if v, the value of the line. So now here I increment the even count only if this value is even. That's it. Even count is equal to even count. We close the file, open it, make the counter 0, convert the line to integer, check if the number is even. If it is, increment your counter. After the loop, close the file and print the result. Even count 459. Good. From data1, write odd values to odd txt. It means we need to take the odd values from data1 and output them to a file called odd txt, and even values to even txt. So we need to make 2 new files or output 2 new files, a file that contains only odd values and the other contains even values. We start with the previous code here, but I will need to do 2 files now, output files. Let me call it odd file equals open odd.txt, and this is going to be done with write mode, and even file equals open even.txt, and this is going to be write mode. Now we're going to go line by line from our input file. We need to make sure if the number is odd or even. If the number is odd, we send it to the odd file. If the number is even, we send it to the even file. So line 6 here, ask if the number is even, then I say even f dot write. Remember, we write the line. If you write the value, you need to convert it to string. If you write the line already is a string. So if you write the value, you need to say strv, and you add a new line character to avoid. Okay, here. This is how we do it. Write strv plus. And here. This is the code. But if you write the line directly, that's it. Just write the line or write the number. It depends on what you want. If you just want to do it like this, as the question says, it's enough to write the line. So else means the value is odd. So we would say odd file dot write. I'll do it the other way. I'll write the line. بس خلاص. Just write the line. And I need to close all files. Odd file dot close. And even file dot close. Good. So let me run this. Nothing, no output, which is good. Our program did not request any output. So let's see our files here at the left side. Here we have even. Let's look at the numbers here. I only see even values. Odd is here, and I only see odd values in the output. So what we did here, we opened one source file and 2 output files. We got the line one by one. If the value is odd, then send it to the odd file. If the value is even, send it to the even file. And here, I changed the way I write just to let you know that if you are outputting a numeric variable, you need to convert it to str and take care of the new line character. If you are just outputting text, you just send it directly. I did not, in line 9, I did not add plus new line character because we already have one in the file that's being read from the data1 txt. Count the number of prime numbers in data1 txt. So here we would not repeat the prime number, how to find if a number is a prime. But the best way how to do this is to have a function that tells you if a number is a prime or not. And that function returns either true or false, similar to the function we did so many times in the class, in the tutorials, and possibly in the labs. So let's see this. Here is a function that finds if a number is a prime or not, returns true or false. We have done this before, and this is not the time to explain it. We now work with files. So the question says, open the data file, find how many prime numbers in it. Actually, we have done this. The only thing that we did not do is to check if the number is prime. We checked if the number is odd or even. So I'll go and steal the same code even from here. I'll just use the lines I need. And let's see what's going to happen. Here, I will just, okay. Here, we open the file. Good. Now we need to count, prime count, let us say. Prime count is equal to 0. So now we go line by line, convert the line to integer first, because our prime function expects you to send an integer. So if we will call the function now is prime v, so the function, if the function returns true, so our value is prime, so we would say prime count plus equal 1. That's it. So go convert it to integer, send it to isPrime function. If it returns true, increment the counter, otherwise do nothing. After you finish everything here, print. Okay, there are prime count prime numbers in the file. And okay, we close the file. We have a separate function here. Run. There are 100 prime numbers in the file. Let me see here. Okay, let me add one prime number or few. 11, 13, 19, 23, 29, 23 again, 11, 7. So I added a bunch of prime numbers. So the number should be more than 100 now. There are 108 prime numbers in the file. So we just call a function. Do not try to put the prime logic inside the file read. Just make it a separate function to avoid spaghetti coding and hard times in debugging. Using the employee.txt file, you first need to take a look at the file. Find the following: total salaries, average salary, wow. So the first thing here, you need to look at the file and understand it. Here is the file. We have Ali Muhammad. And this file is not actually a record like the one we studied in chapter 7. It's a one line separated by comma. So we will look at it. So the first part of it is name. The second is ID. And the third one is sales. Department, sorry. The second one is, let us go again. Average the second one is salaries. And, okay, the department name. So again, we go back to look at it. Name, salary, and department. And look, they are separated by comma. The values, or let us say the fields of the record, are not in separate lines. They are separated by comma. How are we going to handle these lines? How are we going to separate the name from the salary from the department? And remember also, the salary is a numeric value. You need to convert it to numeric value. Let's read the question again and see one by one. Using the text file, find the total salary and average salary. Let us start with the first two, total salary and average salaries. Create a new file here, file 10, Python. I'll just put the question here so we remember what we need. Okay, so we will open the file. So let us say data is equal open. The file name is emps.txt. And we are opening for read mode. Good. So next we need to find total salaries. And there is a problem here because we need to process the lines now. We have 3 pieces of information in each line, separated by comma. So let us see what's going to happen. If you go for line in data, I will show you what you get. Print line. Good. And let's just close here. Data, I called it dot close. So I want you to see what happens when we read line by line. So we get this line, we get this line separated. Type. What we need here is to separate the name from the salary from the department. We know they are separated by comma. We know they are separated by comma. In Python, you can create some kind of a list when you split this line. We're going to split this line using the separator. Our separator here is the comma. Our separator here is the comma. Let me explain this. Let me say employee data is equal line dot split. And I want you to see that I told Python here to split using a comma. The result is, and this is very important, emp data, the result is a list of 3 values. Look at the result now. Look here. Excellent. See now, when you split a line, you don't get a line of text. You get a list of the 3 values that are separated by comma. See here, I have the name, I have the salary. Remember, salary is numeric. And I have what? Sale, department. So now I have a list of items. The only thing that is needed now, I need to convert the salary to float or integer. It's float. Look here. It's float. So how we convert it? Look, before I print it, I would say emp data 1, which is salary, is equal float of what? Of emp data 1. So I convert the value to float. And see now I'm going to print it. See now, before converting it, it's a string. Run. Okay. There is an error, but let me see here. Here it's working. Maybe the error while I'm explaining, there was something wrong with the data. So one of the lines, there is something wrong with the data. Maybe there is a non-text. I finally corrected all the wrong things in the source file. And now it works like each line now, when I use a split, each line becomes a list. And now I have the salary. I have the salary in a numeric format, float. And I know where the salary is. So to find the total salary, total salaries equal to 0. And here, to find the total salaries, I would say total salaries plus equal emp data 1. And I know it's numeric now. And after I finish everything, I could say now total salaries equal to total salaries. So let us make sure this works. Excellent. I have total salaries. Okay. Just correct some spelling here. Total salaries is equal to that much. So I read line by line, convert the line to a list using split. I converted the numeric values from text to float or integer, depending on the example. Second one here, they need what? Average salary. So average is nothing but total divided by count. So let us say here, emp count is equal to 0. I know each line is one employee. So whenever you finish one line, I would say emp count plus equal 1. And I know the total salaries now. And I know the employee count. So let us say if emp count greater than 0, and I believe you know why I'm doing this, then I would say print, okay, average salary is equal to total salaries divided by emp count. So let us see this. Average salary and total salaries. And let us just print here, okay, emp count, employees in the file. So I know how many employees data in the file because I know from the line, 26 employees in the file. I'll go to emps. I'll add one more line here. I'll say Jamal Nasser. And Jamal Nasser is with this salary. Close this. So we had only 26. Now it should be 27. Excellent. So 27 employees in the file. So now I know the maximum, the average salary. I could do the maximum now, and they need the maximum. But what they need the employee name with the highest salary. So now I need to find the highest salary and I need the employee name. So let's see how we're going to do this. I will call this max emplo is equal to empty string. Max salary, I can make it 0 here. I'm not expecting any negative values. So now we need just to finish task number 3. So what I do here, I would say if emp data 1, which is the salary, is greater than max salary, then max salary is equal to emp data 1. And remember, I need the name. Max name. Did I define max name? Or max employee? Max employee will be equal to the first item in the list. Remember here, the first item in the list. So I'll go back here. I say max employee is equal to emp data, which is a list, 0. Emp data 0. The first item in the list. Okay, let us just print the name of the employee with the highest salary. Okay, here I'll do max salary is the highest salary for max name, max employee. We'll get his name. So the highest salary is 324 for Jamal Nasser. Let us go and see Jamal Nasser here. Where is Jamal Nasser? I believe the one I just maybe changed. Okay. Here, Jamal Nasser. There might be another Jamal Nasser. Tamam. So I'll just change this Jamal Nasser to 444. And let me just save this. Run. Now the highest salary is for Ali Muhammad. So we have found the employee name of the highest salary. The last task, they say, the department name with the lowest salary. And this question might be at this level complicated. Later when you study list and 2D lists and dictionaries, this is going to be easy. But there are so many ways how to solve this. I just honestly don't want to make it what? Very complicated in lists. I prefer doing it in a later tutorial. I don't want really to explain it without going deep into lists.